Welcome. So in the last video, we're just looking at creating a GitHub account, and it will be easier to work with a student account because you can get some free services that some companies get to offer. But in light of the non-student account, like the one that I'm using now, I can actually go to new and create a repository, which is what I want to actually show you for what you guys are supposed to be doing. So I can make my repository and maybe call it portfolio, like that. So in this repository, I want to put C code and its attributes. So in other words, I'll still be able to make quite a number of elements that I can work with. And then with this, I can then be able to say, maybe let me just add an extra value, portfolio, then I say diploma content. Okay. I create my repository. I can then be able to work with whatever this portfolio should actually now look at. So among some of the things that we have actually worked with is we've got many things that we can work with. This helps us to create the code. This deals with issues that you might face or you might find on your particular GitHub, and each issue can actually now be put to good use at this particular instance. We can also have some pull requests. So for example, I've got content that I may have maybe on a website, maybe on a platform. I can be able to actually have some of these things done here. I can go to actions where I can see some of the elements or some of the content that I may need to address or be a part of, since it will be my platform and it will be my content that I'll be showcasing. So what this then means is it becomes something that you can work with and you can use based on what is going on with whatever project or projects that you're working on. So if you also want to get up to deployment, you can actually then learn more about your actions, basically. So this is another concept that we can actually work with and learn based on whatever projects that you're working on. So this particular section of our actions help us to at least know how we would want to get our projects in line. Under projects now, you can actually pinpoint the type of project that you want to work with, the content that you have within your project, and how you'd want to use your project based on whatever content or context that you'll be working with. So this then gives us more or less a general idea of how each of our projects will be working. So since my internet is not as fast, we might need to just wait a little bit as it updates and it gives us progress on whatever content we are working on. So under projects, this is what we find. So in the event that you're working on a project that is open for quite a number of people, you can actually be able to work with this section of our projects and how certain things will be working. Where we're interested is the wiki, whereby you can actually create a portfolio of how your content will be working. So we'll work on this more so that we can see how we can actually make our projects come to life. So let's actually just get to the first bit, whereby with the first bit we can also play around with how it looks, because this is pretty much your page this is pretty much how each element will be working. So we are simply saying this is my link to get to my page. I can go set up in desktop, so I can open my GitHub desktop and actually set up how I would want my portfolio to be coming up. So it is a platform where whatever it is that you're working with or whatever it is that you're doing, you can be able to put it in a platform, and in this platform you can then be able to put whatever you want to do. So I can go to clone because I've already linked with my desktop, and with this particular setup, I can now be able to say this is my repository where I've got the portfolio diploma, and then I've got a number of elements that I want to then add to this. So the setting up of this, I think maybe I might need a video to show you how this works, but let me just show you where it will be in my documents. I've got my GitHub where I can actually now have my portfolio and diploma. So what this then means is I can come to any of the code that I've done. Let's say, for example, this is the code I've worked with. Mind you, this is not my code. I just got it from somewhere. So I can then paste my code. And if I come to GitHub desktop, I can then see that I now have a few changes that have been done. And then I would need to put this information on my GitHub. One moment, please. Okay, so this particular route, it refused to actually publish my content. I'm not sure why, but I may be able to publish my content in a different way. Let's just remove the executable. Hopefully it will work. If not, it's not a main problem. But let me just explain how this section works. We are simply saying if I've got my portfolio and whatever is within my portfolio, I can be able to update whatever content I want to put. And this content can then be published to my GitHub portfolio or my GitHub profile here. So if I refresh, if there are any changes, I should be able to see the content that I've put in my profile. So in this particular instance now, we are simply saying because it did not update my content, I may need to then add manually or put my information manually. So I can go to where it says import code, right? And then I can put a particular link to get my code. If not, I can be able to actually then add my files individually. So for example, I can go to where it says upload existing file. And then I can go to choose my files. I go to where my files are located and I select the first file. I go to my files again, I select the next file. I can also select, I don't think I have much in these folders. I can actually leave them. And the moment I've done this, I can actually put some comments that I want to put. So for example, project details, please find attached project. Like that. I click on commit changes, and then I can be able to actually upload my content onto this particular page. So in the next video, hopefully I'll be able to play around with this GitHub desktop and actually have it working well, so that we can be able to also update these details, right? So what this then means is I can be able to clearly set up my project in the manner that I'd want it to be displayed, and when it's displayed in that way, I can also be able to publish it and have individuals view my project.